Good evening, racing fans. Welcome back to the channel. Proudly sponsored by betting.co.uk. I'm just about with two selections for you for Friday's racing, but probably nothing to get too excited about. They're very short prices for tomorrow's racing, but I've been a little bit short on the videos this week. There hasn't been too much value out there. I did actually try and find a little bit more value for tomorrow's racing as well, but I really just couldn't pin down too many valuable looking selections. So I've got two short prices for tomorrow's racing, both coming from FAKENHAM, but hopefully they can get the business done and just bring us a small bit of profit heading into the weekend action, where we do actually have some really good racing, and I've already got a few selections lined up at bigger prices as well. But I'll go straight into tomorrow's action. We start off with the 340 at FAKENHAM. We've got a 3 mile handicap hurdle over on soft ground. Now, there's not too many horses in here that have much form that stacks up. There is an interesting runner in here called Yurkash for Paul Webber. Now, he's interesting because Gavin Sheehan obviously comes over to FAKENHAM just for the one ride. Now, he really hasn't shown much over fences so far. He's won one of his 26 starts. He hasn't actually won over hurdles either, but he has won off a mark of 91 over fences. Coming back over hurdles tomorrow for the first time in a long time. He's actually going to be running off a mark of 75. So just wonder if the man in the saddle, Gavin Sheehan, could work a little bit of magic. He could be a little bit of an each way play at 16-1. But at the same time, you are taking a bit of a chance that he finds his old form from nowhere, to be honest with you. But it's interesting that Gavin Sheehan does come for the one ride. The one that's going to be tough to beat though here is going to be the favourite, Hermes Legree, at even money for Robbie Llewellyn. Liam Harrison takes the ride here. Now, he has gone up £12, which includes, that's a penalty because he was due to go up £5 for his last win. But he switched from the Greytrex team, came over to Robbie Llewellyn, and actually looked like he was going to win first time out over at Southall. He travelled really nicely into the race. He looked like he was finding things much easier than what he did on his previous start. And then he came down late in the day when actually travelling really nicely. Heavily backed into favourite as well, so he didn't go unsupported. He then ran next time out just a week later at Huntingdon. Again, this was over 2.5 miles on the soft ground. He handled it really nicely. He progressed as the race went on. He jumped pretty nicely at the same time, and he obviously looks well treated. And against some horses in here which look like they've got a lot to find based on any sort of form that we can see in the book. Even for Gina, who's got a couple of ones next to his name, he still has to improve a fair amount if he's going to reach the level of Hermes Legree, despite the penalty on the favourite here. So he's even money, but I do think he's going to be really hard to beat. He comes out again after having 10 days, not even 10 days off the course, but he obviously came back fit and well. If he's in the same sort of vein this time out, he is probably going to be the one to beat, and I think even money will do for a short price selection. There's plenty of short prices out there tomorrow. He is probably the one that I think is probably the most valuable, if anything at all. Then there's just another interesting runner in the bumper as well, the 450 at FAKENHAM. Again, you don't have to be a genius to find these sort of prices, but Farland for the Paul Nicholls team should be hard to beat here. Now he's got a little bit of experience under his belt. He was a really expensive purchase and obviously had a big reputation, having run a pretty decent race over at Punchestown in a bumper, where he only finished 5 lengths back of Predator's Gold, who of course has since gone on to finish second in the Nathaniel Lacey. That form obviously stacked up really nicely. So you'd expect Farland to take a nice step forward. He actually finished second on his debut start for Paul Nicholls, but took a right step forward. But I expect him to take a right step forward for that experience this time out. Now, he's 4-5. He's going to shorten quite quickly. Again, so don't getting stuck in. Maybe add these selections to a few of the fancies that you like for Friday's action. But I do think these two horses are going to be really hard to beat. Farland, again, with that experience, he should come on plenty for that run. There's not much in behind him, especially from what we can see on paper anyway, because there's a few newcomers in the race, perhaps Lumi plug-in of the Gary Moore team. But again, Farland I think should be pretty tough to beat at 4-5. So that's just two quick fire selections for you for Friday's racing. Short prices, short and sweet, but I will have some more selections for you for Saturday's racing at bigger prices, with obviously the good racing that we've got going ahead this weekend. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all again tomorrow with my weekend picks. Bye for now.